So we're going to go ahead and write that. We just talked about how that was the same as a plus b squared. And here's how we decide. Is this a perfect square? Yes. Okay. Is this a perfect square? Yes. What is the square root of 9? I'm just going to write this right here. All right, what is 6 divided by 2? Are these the same number? Then it is a perfect square. What is the square root of x squared? Plus, we said the square root of 9 was 3. Then I'm finished. Yes. The hardest part is knowing how to identify if it is a perfect square or not. Okay? Number 17 will be a little harder with that. Here's the only difference between 16 and 17, though. I mean, other than it's got 2 variables. Do you see how 16 has x squared first and it has no number? Well, you have that, but it's h squared instead. All right, so we're going to check this to see if it's a perfect square. Is 4 a perfect square? What is it? Is g squared perfect? Yes, okay. Is 4 divided by 2, what's that? 2, so that they match like they're supposed to? Okay. Is h squared perfect? Okay. That means it will work. What is the square root of 4 again? What is g squared? What's the square root of that? Plus, what's the square root of h? I said what's the square root of h, but I meant what's the square root of h squared? This went here. This went there. By multiplying it out, you get the middle number. Yep. If they are not both 4s, it's not a perfect square in that situation. That's why you wouldn't. I need to show you one that's not a perfect square. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Yes? Because the actual form says it's 2 times that, we have to check if it really is the right thing, so we divide by 2 to see if it really equals that last number there. We're just checking because we're not actually using that at all. Yes, because that form is actually divided by 2 right here. Let's try a couple more. The only difference between this one and this one is what? There's a minus, so it's going to be a minus b squared. Okay, 18. Is x squared a perfect square? Yes. Let's do 10 divided by 2. What's that? 5. Okay. What's the square root of 25? So that, is this a perfect square? And the middle number works out like it's supposed to? As long as these match, you're good to go. Alright, so I'm going to put parentheses and squared. What is the square root of x? This time I'm going to put what symbol? What's the square root of 25? Try number 19. Alright, number 19. Is n squared perfect? Yes. Okay. What is 12 divided by 2? What is the square root of 36? So can I do that this way? Yes. That's what I'm deciding when I talk about all that. Is it possible to factor it as a perfect square? n squared, I put minus what? 6. Alright, what am I actually doing every time? What's my summary for this? How does this work? What do I have to check first? Check to see if they are perfect squares. They, meaning first and last. After I check, what do I do? Because if they are, then I know I can do it this way. How do I write it after I've checked it? Square root of first and last. And you said squared on the outside? Okay, good. So make sure you go back and add that. Not only do you check to see if the first and last are perfect squares, but make sure the middle divided by 2 is the square root of the last. That's a whole lot there, but there you go. So that's on page 113. What was this one equal to? A plus b parentheses squared. And how about this one? A minus b squared. Okay. Then I want you to write down number 1. X squared plus 2x plus 1. Let's skip more than 2 lines. Number 2, x squared, I think we've done this one, plus 10x plus 25. And number 3, x squared plus 8x plus 16. Try those. You can only see 2 of them. There's the third one. Try those. We'll talk about it in a second. Alright, did you check to make sure that this really is a perfect square? Okay, so both of them are perfect. When you divide by 2, is it 1? Okay, then what did you write? Did anybody decide they would rather factor it the old way? I had some that did. That's fine. Just make sure when you're done factoring, you write it as a square. You get to choose. That's one nice thing about math. There's so many different ways to do it. As long as you get the right answer and you understand, that's fine with me. Alright, number 2. Is this a perfect square? Is this a perfect square? Is this divided by 2 the same as this? Okay, it works out. What'd you guys write then? X plus 5. Number 3. What do you have? X plus 4 squared. Good. Here's a couple more. Number 4. Number 5. And number 6. Number 4. Is x squared perfect? Is 49. What is 2 divided by 14? Didn't we do this one just a second ago? But what's the difference? It's minus, so it's x what? X minus 7. Alright, is number 5 a perfect square trinomial? That's what they're called. Yes, okay. Then, what'd you guys factor it as? By the way, this is still called factoring. Right, number 6. Perfect square trinomial? No, how do you know? The square root of 100 is 10. 52 divided by 2, is it 10? No. Do you know what number would have to be here for it to be perfect? What's 10 times 2? 20 would have to be there. We're going to talk about that later next week. What has to be there to make something perfect. Okay. If that doesn't work, we got to do the old method. Not old method, but what we did last week. Multiply to get what? Add to get negative 52. Did you guys find those factors? 50 times 2, is that 100? What is 50 plus 2? 52, is it negative 52? Negative times negative, is that positive 100? Negative 50 plus negative 2, is that negative 52? Yes. How do I write these then? Because it's been a little bit while since I've done these. X minus 50, x minus 2, they're both negatives. Okay. X minus 50, x minus 2. I'm giving you a sheet of these to do again for homework. I think they take even less time than yesterday's.